threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers Podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Are you excited?
Oh yes.
Today's the day.
Yeah. This is one of the best interviews I think we've had.
It is the best. I mean, come on, man. It's who do we have
Probably
today?
the best. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got none other than Donnie Dust.
Donnie Dust, man. How did we do this? I don't know.
Whoever you are, your testosterone is going to grow about 500 points.
Yeah.
Woman or man during this.
Yeah, female, male, in between. It doesn't matter.
He's like, man, he's awesome.
Yeah.
So
He's the man. Man, we had a great time talking with him, asking him some fun questions, and he actually listens to the podcast. How crazy is that?
that's so weird.
I don't know.
He's so chill.
Oh yeah, such a good dude.
Yeah.
If I'm
you
lost
never
in the
know with
wilderness-
those people that know like tons about the wilderness and like live out there. You're like, will they communicate okay?
Yeah, I
Might be
know.
on par with me. So
Yeah, exactly. So, man, we're so excited. We're also excited about today's sponsor, Batterix. Batterix is a single-use backup battery pack designed to always be with you and always ready for that critical charge when you need it most. Each compact Batterix gives you 3 hours of charge time and 8 years of storage life. Batterix is iPhone and Android compatible. Cam and I think these are perfect for any EDC or bug out bag as they're compact, they have that long shelf life, and because your phone is so important in any emergency situation. Batterix was on the ground in recent hurricanes, tornadoes, and other emergency events, and even sent units for soldiers in the Ukraine, and they were used in the battlefield. How cool is that? Head to Batterix.com where you can sign up for a 10% discount on your first order and free shipping on orders of 3 or more. That's a deal right there. This is patented technology, so you're not just going to find this anywhere else. You got to get it from Batterix. That sounds pretty cool too, but we're going with Batterix. Each and every prepper needs a backup plan to keep communications going, and Batterix is ours.
they're so awesome.
Right, Cameron?
It is totally like not a cheap little credit card size battery.
It's nice.
You can plug it in about everything.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty
get one.
sweet. Make sure to go get it, Batterix.com. And now enjoy our interview with none other than Donnie Dust. All right, guys. Man, Cam, could we be more excited than we are right
No.
now? I don't think
This
so.
this is a big deal.
This is a huge deal. We've got the man, the myth, the legend. I call him the sexiest dude in survival. This is Donnie Dust. What's up, my man?
Hello. Doing well. I think those accolades are a little overdone, but no, I do appreciate it. Thank you.
No. Well deserved, man. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We've been following Donnie for forever, man. I remember seeing this dude on Alone, and I'm like, gosh dang, that dude is cool. But he does so much cool
it's
stuff.
incredible.
Like the TikTok account from Donnie Dust is the #1 TikTok account on TikTok. By far.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You just feel like a man watching it.
Yeah.
You're just like, man, I'm more of a man now.
Like I get like a testosterone pump when I watch it. So thanks for
my
that.
goal. Yeah, that's my plan, to share the testosterone with as many folks as spread it around.
Yeah. So tell us, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in all of this like rad, wilderness survival stuff that you do?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to most, folks' stories where, as a kid, I just kind of grew up outside. I think the generation that I'm, familiar with and am part of, similar to you guys, we didn't have a lot of this technology. So it was outside, drinking from hoses and playing with roadkill and catching crawfish and all that sort of stuff. So, and I just enjoyed that more than most things, I guess you could say. So,
Yeah.
Been a long-term outdoorsman, and then when I was a teenager, I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, and they were the perfect entity to really say, you know what, if you love the outdoors and you love getting dirty, we will definitely, help you in that process. So, yes, there's some war and other things that are part of it, but yeah, they definitely, taught me a bunch and kind of gave me that discipline, if you will. And then, I got out of the Corps and just wanted to, continue kind of living wild and, really experiencing the outdoors, and more importantly, getting other folks into the outdoors so they could kind of, see how I walk and kind of let them develop their own skills, and just ultimately just expose people to the outdoors, but kind of with a unique way, which is more in my line with primitive technologies and, stone tools and things to that extent.
Man,
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool. It makes me feel like
Went outside, never came back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Just been out there the whole time.
No, I was just going to say, I think a lot of people, innately enjoy the outdoors. They find a peace there. They find adventure. They find curiosity. I just think as time progresses forward, people are more drawn to a different aspect of curiosity, and that's on phones and different social media. And I think for me, I kind of just hold on to those roots where I enjoy being outside, not because it's about taking a photo or filming a video. It's just being outside with, my two sons or my girlfriend, whatever that case may be. I just enjoy being outside.
Yeah. It's so like, just recently I took my boys out, and it's just funny. Just one of them was just saying, he's like, "This is it. This is the life I want to live." It's just funny. Like, he was like over the top about it, but there's like a connection when you get out there that you just don't experience and you forget about pretty quickly. And when I took them out there, they were just super excited about it. And we're like, wow, I guess we're going to go out another night, because they couldn't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's a good addiction, and it's probably the healthiest thing, young minds and young men and women can actually kind of explore is, maybe it is rock climbing or skiing or snowboarding or just hiking, but those things promote good health and adventure, a whole level of, like, I call it like self-reliance, but more importantly, resiliency. Like, if they're getting rained one day, that might not be the worst day of their life because they've been rained on 1,000 days before that, So
yeah,
it's a good.
Man,
so awesome,
cool, man. So, I mean, as you know, we're a prepper podcast, so we want to talk a little bit about like your connection to prepping with some of the stuff that you do. So, we got like 5 quick questions. This first question's like got 3 questions in it, so I'm flubbing the numbers here. But do you consider yourself a prepper?
Absolutely, I consider myself a prepper, but more of I don't want to say closet prepper, but a selective sharing of information. I don't advertise to the world because that's, I just keep it to myself and the community that I kind of stick with.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That makes total sense. So, like, since you do consider yourself a prepper in some way, like, how do you balance your focus from traditional prepping, like what most people understand as prepping, to what you are an expert in, which is this wilderness survival type stuff? Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, I think it's a good balance, and it's a balance that a lot of people can't obtain, because I always view prepping in a couple different facets. So, when I'm at home with my kids and my girlfriend, I like to be prepared, whether it's down the medical route, having backup, battery power, vehicles, we could go down some deep rabbit holes in that construct. But I always say prepping isn't necessarily based off of all of this stuff. It's really factors into the environments and what you have opportunity wise in those environments. So my home is an environment, my community is an environment. When I'm on the road, that's an environment, and all of those things go into different aspects of prepping. Within that, I view the wilderness and the outdoors as another environment that requires a certain prepping. And that's where that survival component, the hunting, the trapping, finding clean sources of water, understanding medicinal plants, that's, if I take my girlfriend, for example, she is phenomenal at working up different tinctures and poultices. And, for example, I came back from the Amazon, had a parasite inside of me, and within like 2 days, she had mixed up this batch of green stuff that killed that parasite. It's a balance of those environments.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. After hearing that, how do you feel like modern preppers, and what do you feel like modern preppers overlook in these aspects? Because of you're so good at certain aspects of this, I'm sure you see like, man, well, these guys could really be doing this type of thing, and they should be,
Yeah, I think with a lot of modern preppers, one thing that we should focus on and think about is essentially when things start to run out, because inevitably they will.
Yeah.
And I've seen firsthand overseas, you supply people with different materials, eventually they run out. And then it's really what are the alternatives to those things, whether it's medication, food, clean water, sanitation, whatever that case may be. I think if a lot of modern preppers said, all right, for 3 months out of the year, I'm going to remove my preps, my caches, my backups, and I'm going to find alternate sources to supplement those or to fill those gaps. I think what they would do is they really diversify their overall capabilities and offerings to themselves, to their families, as well as to their communities.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a different take on it.
Yeah, no, I love seeing different people's takes on prepping, and especially people like you that have very specific skill sets. It's just interesting to kind of hear, those viewpoints.
I appreciate it. And like you guys are out in Utah, so I'm in Colorado, the other side of the mountains, and I always tell people, they always think, well, you're into primitive skills and survival. It's like, well, I also live in a place that gets a lot of snow. There's fires. There's a lot of natural occurrences. And when those things typically happen, I'm at home. I'm at a place I'm either renting, living in some lady's basement, whatever the case may be. But the point is, that is my first environment, and I need to be prepared. I need to be actionable in the things that I do in that environment. And it is a balance, but if you were to go into where my kids' rooms are and look in their closet, you'd see a lot of stuff that isn't theirs, from, different meal packs to, medicine to, I have suture kits because my kids have never gone to the doctor to get stitches. I just do it all myself.
Oh man, that's so awesome.
Yeah, it's that sort of thing. So,
so cool.
That's pretty amazing.
So, considering all that, in your mind, I love asking this question. What SHTF / kind of apocalyptic scenario scares you, Donnie Dust, the most?
Okay. So this is kind of a weird one.
Okay.
But not necessarily weird. But I think when I think of a shit hit the fan sort of scenario, I always envision like a solar flare that just wipes everything out, electronics based. And then it comes, and that's not even really the main event. It's just knocking that out, and the second and third order effects from that. The lack of power, lack of water, lack of communication, the shutdown from one family who lives in this town to the other family who lives in that town. It's that chaos that ensues. And that's where I equate my solar flare to the zombie scenario. And I say zombie, but I'm not talking like the Walking Dead sort of stuff. I'm talking about the average citizen who becomes that zombie, that mindless, heartless, only looking for certain things, whether it's food or water. That is that shit hit the fan scenario. And I know when that happens, myself and a couple teenage boys that are my sons and my girlfriend, we are ready to, do what we do.
Well,
I think in that scenario, you kind of become the king of the apocalypse.
That's the thing. I was like, that is not the one I would have thought you would say, but it makes sense because better than anybody, being out, living off from the wild and everything, how society really would fare in this scenario. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I take a lot of that perspective from my times in the Middle East and various countries where you kind of see small facets of that kind of growing and occurring in different areas where a community doesn't have power except for 2 hours a day. What happens? Those people kind of turn into these zombies, not ones of trying to kill everything, but they're there for their own self-preservation as well as their family self-preservation. And they'd be, willing to put a bomb in the road to make $100 to their family. That sort of scenario, seeing that firsthand, I think in a Western society, in a modern day society, that would quickly occur. And it wouldn't be an issue for people to kind of go to those next steps to maintain their kind of, well-being, if you will.
Yeah, for sure, man. And thinking about all this, obviously we've done 1 million episodes. We've had 1 million people commenting on 1 million different things that we've talked about. It's just funny that I feel like the average person, prepper or not, feels like, what, if it all goes down, I'm just going to go live in the woods forever. I'm going to survive out there. Everything's going to be great. So And I feel like it would be a very rude awakening for like 99% of people trying to do that. And I wonder how you feel about that. Like, how would the average dude, like suburbanites like us, how would we fare out there in the wilderness if we had to stay for a month with really basic, tools?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I put it to people just like this. So with my knowledge, skills, and abilities, my background, my understanding of the outdoors, I went on the TV show Alone and lasted 8 days because I got sick.
Yeah.
I mean, internal stuff, hygiene, things like that. I mean, that shit will bring you down. And that is 100% reality of what can happen,
Mm-hmm.
And you probably other episodes, someone takes a chunk out of their hand or they get injured. It's a reality. So I think a lot of average guys would actually go in with a little bit more open mind. They'd go in with a little less confidence, but it gives them a little bit more kind of caution in their actions. For me, it's like, I've done this. I know where I know how this works. And then I might go out a little bit more aggressive. So there's a balance there, but I think most suburbanites wouldn't even go into the woods, to be honest with you. I think there's a comfort. There's a comfort in the home. There's a comfort in the things that they have. And just being able to walk away from them would cause them such, distress and psychological, like turmoil. It'd be pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
From someone that's, you've trained, you've done classes and you kind of see what a lot of these people are capable of. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense to, that's kind of scary. That's scary.
Yeah, for sure.
Another question is, you build a lot of things. We've watched your TikTok videos, and you can just make pretty much anything out of anything. It's crazy.
Really, guys, if you're watching this right now and you haven't followed him on TikTok, like, there is no better account.
It's unbelievable
on the internet. Like, it is the best account on the entire internet. So go follow it right now.
Yeah. Seriously.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
But yeah, you being able to build all this stuff, what tool do you find to be the most useful overall to help you survive in the wilderness? If it's the first thing, you start with nothing, what would you build first to start to help you survive out there?
Yeah, this is a great question. And when I got these questions, I ran them through with my girlfriend because I was curious what her take was. And I was like, oh, no. But I think for me, if I had the resources, right, and I had the ability to craft some sort of small axe, small hatchet, small chopper, cutter, hammer, defensive tool, offensive tool, and in my mind, I instantly go to like a tomahawk or like a small woodsman's axe. That gives me mass to crush. It gives me, easy maneuverability. It gives me the ability to, choke up on that neck and do some fine cutting. It is a kind of multi-tool in that regards, because in my practice, in my background, I find it easy to make a knife, just a quick stone blade that will get me through what I need to do. But that chopper, that tool of just, it's in essence, it is one of the core tools that I think a quick axe, a quick tomahawk, something like that would be my go-to tool.
That's awesome. I'll have to say, that's kind of what I was thinking you might say. It just makes the most sense. And I'm not even, I have no outdoor skills.
I know, man. It's so funny because
we always talked about like a machete or a hatchet or like, and now that you say it and explain it, like, that makes more sense to me why that would be the thing to build.
A machete was my second one, like a shortened machete. I take a bolo machete and I shorten it down so it's about 9 inches. It's a little bit more compact, but you can, use it as a draw knife. It still has chopping capabilities, just a little bit smaller in certain regards. But yeah, that's like my second choice.
That's awesome,
man. Yeah, that's so cool. So freaking cool. It's so funny because like we do a podcast like this, people look at us like we're actually experts in any of this crap, which is like hilarious to me. You know what I mean? So like they'll ask us these questions. We're like, shit, I don't know. We're just like,
we're delivering information.
We're just idiots
from stuff that we've studied and read.
We're procuring information. Like, yeah, we go camping and we go in the woods and we test out gear, but it is like nowhere near the expertise that a guy like you has. So that's why it's great to bring somebody on like you that can actually give some great information to the listeners.
Yeah, seriously.
Instead of just stupid voices and random crap coming out of our face holes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I also think for like you guys, like I've reached out to you and said like, what is a good gas mask to have? I've reached out to you guys on a couple of occasions because I always equate everything to knowledge, skills, and abilities, you know, 3 unique things. And I don't have the knowledge that you guys have and what I would say that prepper landscape. Like I have certain knowledge from my experiences, but I think you guys provide, I always call it a ground truth. You guys have a ground truth in that sort of world. And I have a ground truth in, you know, the primitive skills and the survival world with a hidden ground truth in my preps. But when I don't know, I go to experts. I seek out. And I think you guys provide a really great source for that information and more importantly, that ground truth.
We can direct you to the professionals for sure.
We could definitely get you a link to the right person.
That's why we brought you on.
To listen to. All right, so now we got a couple of questions. These 2 questions we ask everybody. Now these are getting asked to everybody that comes on the show, and so I'm really interested to hear your takes on these. Question number 4. What conspiracy theory do you find the most interesting or entertaining, and why?
Oh God, this one's been racking me for a while because it's difficult to kind of go down that rabbit hole. But I think the conspiracy theory essentially that we are running out of water and water is going to be one of our downfalls. And the reason why I say this, and it sounds pretty crazy, but you think, all right, Earth is 70% water, and we process in the U.S. daily, I think 35 to 45 billion gallons of wastewater and sewage water into clean drinking water. With all the water we have in the oceans, it's very likely if we would just start to desalinize our ocean water, we would have plenty of water. So I think it's kind of not so much a conspiracy, but people tend to lean towards we're running out of water, we're running out of water, we're running out of water. And I don't necessarily believe that. I think there's a lot of stuff out there that kind of leans people in those certain directions, but we have oceans full of water and it would be very easy to desalinize it and have clean drinking water. Whether the oceans rise or they subside, we got lots of water.
Man, okay, that's great. Leave it to Donnie Dust to give us something way out of left field. That is awesome. Maybe we need to do an episode on water.
That's not one I'd ever looked at.
The water conspiracy, you know.
Well, I mean, I was going to go with Elvis is still alive and same thing with but
that's a good one too.
You know, but like everyone freaks out about water. And I know you should always conserve water, but I mean, we basically a planet of water really. So I don't think shortage like we're told.
Yeah, it's just one more thing to strike fear into the hearts of the common man, you know, keep us doing what we're supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah. Man. I'm going to let the water run on my lawn all
it's
day
big
today.
Water. It's just big water. Big government and big water, they're getting together.
Yeah.
My water running right now because I'm like, we got plenty of it. So.
Yeah.
I drink it left and right, man. I ain't scared. Gosh. Awesome. Okay.
All right, one more.
This one is probably the most important.
This is a big one.
I want you to take some time. Make sure you give us the right answer here. What is your favorite movie of all time and why?
Yes. Okay. So I think that the best movie of all time, despite the numerous editing errors in it, is Braveheart.
Oh yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, the reason why it is one of my favorites is when it came out in theaters, I actually went and saw it with my grandmother, who's from Scotland. She's from Stirling.
Wow.
Oh. And it was super cool. So in the middle of this theater, and she used to be able to speak, Gaelic and stuff. And I was there with my mom and dad, but you could just see this fire in her eyes. And she was a sweet little old, but you just see this, what is going on. It's just a cool experience to see with her. And having been to Scotland a couple times, and, my family's from Scotland. So I'm not like a Scottish American like that. That's where that family kind of line comes from. But I like that story. And I know a lot of that movie is not 100% historically accurate, but I just like the man with a ragtag group of, Highlanders battling the man. Maybe it's kind of a little foreshadowing for the days to come. But
Man, I remember watching that show
I did
like
too.
by myself just because I just loved it. Like you felt, I don't know. There was something about it.
I had the 2 set
I was going to say,
VHS tape.
I remember having to switch the tape out.
Yeah, you had to switch the tape out, But I mean, how can you deny like peak Mel Gibson too, man? Dude was just on, you know.
Classic.
And it's funny that you talk about the editing errors. I remember rewinding in those battles and seeing people just like falling over like out of the middle of nowhere, right? Like nobody's even near them.
It was. They're like spinning and barely even touching weapons.
It's so good.
That first speech, that first battle that he does, we used to like watch that like in football and stuff because it's just it's so good.
We would do the same. It was that sort of thing. And I don't know if you guys remember, like, I mean, well before the movie came out, I remember my sisters were watching MTV, and there's a guy named Dan Cortez who used to do Dan Cortez Sports.
Yeah, I remember.
He was like an extra there, and they were doing some things with that movie at that time. And I was younger, but there's like all these little snippets about that movie that are just completely fascinating.
Yeah.
And I will say, if I had to go with a close other second into first, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie No Escape with Ray Liotta.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I have seen that one, actually.
Let's see.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Who else is in that movie?
No
Do you remember?
Escape, huh?
There's
Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
Ernie Jr., the guy from Ghostbusters.
Oh, okay.
He was
the
brother from Ghostbusters. Well, I can't remember his name.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, a couple other guys.
Okay, we'll have to look that one up. I don't know if I'm thinking of the same movie. Oh,
that one. No, there's a lot of names.
That's the one. Oh, this one.
Oh, this one. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw that one.
He's sent to this island, and there's these 2 like bands of people. One are more civilized, one are savages, and he's trying to escape. It's
Is the one guy
great.
from Braveheart one of the back? The one guy looks like
Does he? I don't know.
One of the guys from the other civilization. But anyway, I'll have to watch that.
Nice.
Right.
Now, great pick for best movie.
Yeah, for sure.
You can't deny
sure.
Braveheart, man.
It's always been one of my
so
top.
classic. Man, dude, thank you so much for coming on and just having a discussion with us. I do want to ask if you would do something for me before you get off. You have like this. It's like this classic thing that you do in all your videos where you give us a you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm going to say like, do you listen to Casual Preppers? And just give us a yeah.
No problem.
Okay, you ready?
Ready.
Okay, go for it.
Do you listen to Casual Preppers podcast? Yeah.
Yes. Man, that's like a dream right there.
That's so awesome.
Wow, thank you, my man. Like seriously, again, tell us where everybody can go find all the things you're doing. Where can they find you on the internets?
Yeah. If you're curious, you can go to DonnyDust.com and pretty much Donny Dust on Instagram and TikTok. And the school that I run here in the state of Colorado, down in New Mexico in the Chihuahua Desert, is called Paleo Track Survival. That's where I teach everything from traditional survival skills with a little bit more kit involved, all the way down to the primitive survival skills about adaptability and building one's family reliance and then a personal self-reliance. So yeah, man, I appreciate it.
Yes,
so much for having me. I love your podcast.
Man, I don't know why, but thank you.
That's so crazy. Yeah. Thanks, Donnie. Appreciate you, and stay survived.
Will do.